Hello, I'm Grady York, a lifelong resident of Coffee County, Tennessee. We proudly bring you this January 1990, through the courtesy of the Manchester Committee of the Coffee County Library Board, in an effort to preserve a bit of visual history of Manchester and its business community, a film made in 1951 in and around the public square, sponsored by those who participated at that point in time. Now, this film was done originally without sound. Now we will try to bring you names and comment on the locations as we go along. Since almost 4 decades have gone, many faces appearing in this 1951 rendition are no longer with us. Our special thanks to those who have participated at this point in time and all those who contributed to this effort to revitalize this movie. Now, let us see how we were. And away we go, down East Main, just off the public square. And down on the corner of Main and Woodland, we see the Esso station. We call it Exxon nowadays. And we'll turn here on Woodland Street, and we'll look back at Exxon down there, Esso rather. And we see here Mayor J.C. Jackson, Recorder S.E. Stone, Alderman Jim Henley, Leon Umberger, Dr. J.H. Farrer, Mr. E.E. Dutch Henley on the right, Mr. H.L. Lewis on the left, Mr. J. French Brantley. I believe this is Attorney Garrett. We have here Pat Murkison. We're panning around again on this. Must have been a city hall meeting in those days. Now we move over to Baker Brothers. In the middle of the block, just off the square on East Main, we see Mr. T.D. Baker here. No doubt he's filling a prescription. On the right here is H.D. Markram, also a prescriptionist, pharmacist. Baker Brothers had a wonderful soda fountain. It was deluxe-y, I would say. Ice cream stand and whatever that went with it. Here's Sam Dewey Keel, I believe. There's Mr. F.M. Daughtry and Jack Jones sitting over here at the table being served, I guess, ice cream. They had a stock, and HD is displaying some Southwind, some Hi-C stemware, I believe. Here we see Mr. Baker about to make a sale in the pen and pencil department. And we see HD again here with a customer. Now, it was not only the oldsters who came to Baker Brothers, but also the kiddies. You can see a group of them here. Evidently that fountain was a great drawing card. This was a busy place. Here's an overall view of the store, front to back. Now we move outside to A.J. Tanner's Plumbing and Heating Company across the street in front of Baker Brothers. Basil Fletcher here on the right was the estimator and office man for Mr. Tanner. They had quality plumbing. Basil and Mr. Tanner and his outfit had many contracts of rather large size, school buildings, whatever. Here we have a prospective buyer of some plumbing equipment. Basil here is going over a set of plans with a customer. Supplies were kept in shelves along the wall. They specialized in crane plumbing. Now we visit with the Business and Professional Women's Club, a very active club at that point in time, 1951. Here we see them at a luncheon, I believe. And here's Mrs. Basil McMahon, center here. Here is Annie Ruth Norval on the left, drinking coffee. Here's Martha Brothers. Ms. Verna Jernigan. Miss Flora Hickerson in the center, Evelyn Banks on the left, Gertrude Templeton in the center here, Mrs. Joe H. Ashley Jr., Roberta Williams, Berta, to you. We go over on the northwest side of the square to the Pure Oil Station. This was the headquarters of the Ford Motor Company. Rink Hickerson, M. Wright Hickerson Jr. was the owner at this point in time. Here we see him at his desk. I bought a 49 Ford from him, I remember. He had a good parts department. Mr. Winstead kept the parts in order. Filled your order. Here he is with Mr. J.E. Hill, I believe. On the right there is Mr. Hill. Charles Wells, Mr. Anderson, Paul Baird, Ike Nevels, who kept the place in shape. They had a good body department too. You smash them, they fix them. Here's Ray Shelton, here's Sanding a Fender. We out on the highway, test running, I guess that's a 49 to a 52. I don't remember, but that grill looks like the 49 grill that I had. That was US 41, I guess. It swept through town in those days. Now we visit a shop here, and Miss Roberta's beauty shop, Roberta Williams. Here she is. She had a staff of operators. It was always a busy place. Here's Evelyn Banks on the left. Here is Mrs. Freeman Bryan with a client. The youngsters, too, came here to be prettied up. Here we see that in the process. And they were treated just like the oldsters. They were beautified. Here's Miss Roberta working on a set of curls. Let's move over to the elementary school, College Street Elementary. Notice that there is a series of classrooms built disjoined from the main building. City School has been remodeled many times during the years. Here we see the children coming out. Evidently this is a break or a recess because they don't have their books with them. So we don't believe they're going home. They're just coming out to play for a while. There's Miss Owen St. John. We'll see some of the teachers here with them as they come through. Now, it's hard to put names on these young faces at this point in time. It's been so many years. They were a happy-looking lot. They'll be in their 50s and 60s now, I guess. Maybe close to 50 here. There's Mr. Clyde Evans, superintendent, coming out. Behind him, Mr. J.T. Tucker. Here's the custodian of the elementary school. Notice the energetic way that there's Miss Ruby Hoover, teacher. Energetic way in which these children move about. A joy to behold. Oh, to be more like them at this point in time. There's Miss Annie Guy Wisely, teacher on the right there. Grady Frank Brown, the tall boy there. Now we have some, I guess, that are a little bit younger than what we've been viewing here. I guess this is Miss Price, the teacher here. Mr. Tucker out there again, Mr. J.T. Tucker. Now we move uptown on the east side of the square to Moffitt Hardware. Here is Miss Nina Moffitt. She and Philip, her husband, owned the hardware there. Here's a young customer viewing some of the goodies in the shelves, and here's Mr. Maurice Warren waiting on a customer. There's Philip here on the left waiting on someone, Philip Moffitt. Mr. Warren is selling somebody a hammer, I believe, here. They had a good stock of general hardware, nuts, bolts, and all that went with it, and they were neatly placed in shelves along the wall with one of these traveling ladders on a side of the wall that you made access to these bins. This must be a Chamber of Commerce meeting or a Rotary Club. We don't know here. Notice some of these principals. There was E.M. Newman, I believe. We have here Mr. Dave King Center there. E.W. Smart Jr. on the right. Mr. T.D. Baker coming up. Mr. Joe Frank Patch over there. W.J. Crowder, County Agent. Bob Walker, Bob's Place. Mr. Coy St. John on the right. He was a postmaster once too, trustee. Here we have three ladies who are waiting upon the meal there. Miller A. Jernigan in the center, Clarence Miller by him. Now we're panning around over the crowd here. There's Verlin Jernigan. Now let's move around on McLean Street to Winton Furniture Company. Miss Vi Winton here owned this outlet for a great variety of furniture. Here we see her about to make a sale. Notice the beautiful lamps back there in the background. Looks like we have a great variety of sofas, chairs. Here's Ms. Basil McMahon shopping for a sofa. This is Mr. Dorsey Lee Adams. He delivered far and wide for Miss Vi. He was a salesman too, a handyman in the store. We had toddlers too that came to go through the store. I believe here's a shelf of books, and if I'm not mistaken, this is Ms. Tennis Ellis here reaching into the shelf to get a book out. Yes, I believe that's Ms. Tennis Ellis. Here's Mr. Adams coming out with a delivery. And away he goes. We move up to the public square and see our beautiful New England type courthouse. I don't know whose truck that is on the southeast corner of the square. And we go now to Jersey Gold Dairy Products Company on Short Street. That's some 5 or 6 blocks from the public square, down Spring Street and on Short Street West there. We see Miss Frances Milstead here and Mr. Henry Short on the left. This was a very good-sized operation. They took the raw milk in here and processed it and pasteurized it and converted it to milk products, ice cream in the bulk, ice cream on the stick, and whatever. Here you see the ingenious way in which the bottles are not handled by hand and are sterilized, sent through the circular capping machine as they were filled. And Jersey Gold had a great fleet of trucks. They delivered far and wide, and this was where the products were put together, and sometimes they were done and set away in storage until the trucks could get them and go out. Here Mr. Robert McKinney loading up one of his delivery routes, being checked out by Mr. Short, I believe. Notice the way in which the ice cream bars on the stick were coated with caramel and with chocolate. A very ingenious way to handle those. They were not touched by hand. Then when we go to package them, they were taken and stuffed in little sacks that preserved them from being handled, and then they were frozen and sent far and wide, and what a tasty treat they were. Here's ice cream in the bulk being put into large-sized containers. These containers then were stored away in the cold room, kept well below zero for preservation's sake. A very interesting trip through Jersey Gold plant. We're about to send out a load now in one of our delivery trucks. This is a refrigerated truck. Notice the thickness of the door, the manner in which it's built. Here the fleet is moving out to distribute the products out across the communities in the county. Now we are viewing Walker Motor Company, Chrysler Plymouth dealership. I bought my first car from Mr. W. Allen Walker. I think I gave him $275 for a 1937 used Plymouth Coupe, if I remember correctly. They had a good parts department. This is Doyle Lewis and on the right here, and Lawrence Gaither on the left, I believe. They had a fleet of mechanics. Not only did they work on automobiles, but once in a while they serviced a tractor, farm equipment. And here we have a piece of farm equipment coming out of the shop. Notice the logo, the Chrysler logo. Now we have Chrysler Plymouth Dodge agencies in this 1990s year. Here's Mr. Walker, I believe, coming into the shop with a, I don't know that model. It would take a youngster to tell what that model is. Let us visit now with the the Junior Chamber of Commerce, the JCs. Even in 1951, Manchester had a very active Chamber of Commerce. The JCs. Here's Rink Hickerson, H.D. Markram, T. Arthur Jenkins, attorney. Lawrence Gaither, Robert Bramlett, Jack Jones and Roy McDuffie, Roy in the center, Jesse West, Grady Harris, Morgan Jernigan,